Good afternoon, everyone. It's Monday, July 10th, 2023. This is a meeting of the Personnel Board. We're here for one quick item that we're going to discuss and look into. And this is going to be recorded, and we have one member on Zoom, Mr. Scott Yankee. Also in attendance will be Katie Lang, taking our notes, and our interim assistant town manager is also on Zoom as well. So what we wanted to discuss this afternoon was some pay discrepancies that's long overdue to be taken care of with the our police department and fire department. And Chief Grace is here to give us a brief synopsis of what we want to do and the reasoning.
Awesome.
Excuse me, Gary, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
The first item on the agenda is just to approve the meeting minutes from our February 15th meeting, if that's okay.
We're not going to have a quorum for that because I missed that meeting, so we'll only have two able to vote on it.
Okay.
All right. Ready to begin?
You may.
All right, thank you. I'm here to present a matter that's kind of been in the works since last September. I'm working with Bill Keegan, and this is in regards to the personal wage pay scale under grade 11, the assistant fire chief, deputy police chief, and now human resource director. That position was not in the spot when we started in September. And I'll give a little historical data about where we got here and why we're here today. Is based on the data collected that within the police department, the last person to hold this title dates back to 2012, maybe 13, was Deputy Chief John Chandler. Since then, the position has been vacant until the last 3 years where Deputy Chief Noonan and now we have Assistant Fire Chief Tom Buckley are in those positions. The police department did a wage study under Town Manager Kevin Pecos. That was the last time that this was actually addressed in regards to the police officers and the lieutenant's salary. But the deputy chief's position and assistant chief were never acknowledged or addressed because the positions were unfilled. So currently, under the current standard, the separation between the lieutenants and the deputy chief is only about 6%. The industry standard is between 17 and 22 among the ranks between patrol officer, sergeant, lieutenant and deputy chief. I'm here today to discuss about kind of splitting the difference and making the assistant fire chief and deputy police chief positions comparable with the other surrounding communities. As you'll see in the handout, after the February 15th meeting where we discussed this, there was a discussion about comps. So I used a variety of different comps, many of them that were used in the police chief's studies to determine, well, where do we stand? I knew we were low, but currently we're looking at a $9,400 difference below the 50 percentile for the deputy chief's position and almost 6,500 for the assistant fire chief. That's just to be in the middle for this position. This is not, and I don't believe it was ever designed this way. It just had never been addressed by the Personal Wage Board. Now that we have people in the positions, the goal is to make sure that we retain our staff and treat our staff how we treat all of the other members in the town. So I'm asking to adjust the pay scale and make the separation about 13%, which will bring us into that 50 percentile among the other cities and towns that have assistant chiefs or deputy chiefs. Foxborough is very unique when we talk about these two positions. These are our number twos. We're not a neighborhood, a community, department that decides to shut down on Friday and start up on Monday. The deputy chief and the assistant chief are the go-to members at Gillette Stadium for the planning and the operation on game day and everything in between, starting in February all the way to the end of the football season. They're the point of contact, working with the security plans, reaching out to all the multiple different agencies that we need to bring in on a regular basis to support the operations and all of the license events that the town approves. So I'm asking for this board to support the change in the grade 11 pay scale to reflect the comps that have been presented.
Chief, so right now, initially, it would be is it a 13% increase initially?
No.
That's
No.
with all the steps eventually.
Well, right now, there's a 6% separation. So the goal is to bring it to 13% between the lieutenant and the deputy chief of police and fire to the assistant chief and deputy chief between the ranks.
Okay.
So this on the last step is like 128 to 145? Is that what I'm trying to understand this spreadsheet? I'm sorry about that, but I'm not that familiar with it.
So yeah, so when you're looking at, if you go to the top, and it's very interesting when you have 10 steps, the 10 steps are designed for new employees.
Yeah.
Well, within police and fire, you're never a new employee when you make it here.
Yeah.
You have already probably committed 10, 15, 20 years to the town. So, like hypothetically, if you're a sergeant in the police department with 20 years on the job, I can't even pay you entry-level lieutenant's pay because you would be below what they make.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to look at like the step 10 one, just to use it as an example. I just want to kind of.
Yeah, so that would
So it's
be,
like 128 is what the lieutenants get now, 145, if they were both in step 10. And
that would be
blah,
the
blah, blah.
separation, correct?
Yeah, that's the separation between those two at the highest level. So
Highest
that's
level.
as high as it gets.
Yes.
So I have a different kind of question. If you took the increases that have been studied, I assume was the level right below this, because it was still the lieutenants.
Yes.
They were a judge. If you took that back, those rates of increase over the period since the last time this position was measured, and you laid it over that, would it come into this? Do you understand what I'm doing?
No.
So if the lieutenants have last time the deputy was graded out was what year? You said
2013.
13, okay. So if you took the salary then in 2013, the deputy, last one we knew that was judge, and you took the lieutenant's increases since in the last 10 years, and you gave them to the same percentages to the deputy. Do you
Yeah.
follow what I'm doing?
There's only a 6% difference. So if you go all the way back to page 3, before we make any adjustments, that's where you can see the deputy chiefs and assistant
All I was
chiefs.
trying to do is apply the increases that the lieutenants have had over the last 10 years, when we haven't measured the deputy, back to the deputies starting and putting it on and saying, if it increased 3% a year for the 10 years, what would that number be, and how would it relate to this?
Well, when they made
That's
the,
what I was trying to get at.
so what happened is the town actually did
Maybe I'm being confused.
they did a study for the lieutenants and realized that they were astronomically underfunded. So they took the comps.
So that was in what year, Mike? Do you remember?
This is before Bill Keegan, under Kevin
Oh, that's
Pecos.
way back then. Yeah, it's way back. It's not recently, yeah.
No, nothing's been touched. Nothing's been
Nothing's
touched.
recently since 13 at all.
No, and the deputy
All
chief's
right, so it's an
position,
unfair question, sorry.
and the deputy chiefs was never addressed
Yeah.
in that study because we didn't have one.
Yeah.
Right, Chandler was already going.
I was
with
trying
that.
It was gone.
I was trying to artificially establish
Right.
a way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that study wasn't done, so we are now in 2023, we have two members of, a member from each department, police and fire, who are in these positions, and they're way behind in regards to the comps from the other surrounding towns. So I'm just trying to bring them at least into the 50 percentile, so that way we're treating them fairly. I mean, again, I can't speak enough for their importance within our organizations and how we run our departments. I recently just lost the lieutenant to become a chief in another town. I can tell you the learning curve at a lieutenant level is a minimum 3 years. The deputy chief positions are your 3 years as a lieutenant at a minimum, and then you move to the next level. So, I mean, when you talk about your staff and you talk about bringing in other people, retaining good staff is a key fundamental element that helps your
And
department.
that's the problem now. I mean, I spent part of my vacation last week with a police officer from another town. And he says, we're not hiring new people, we're just stealing from other towns, or other towns are stealing from us. He said, it's so hard to retain.
And I can
When you
tell
get
you,
good people, you gotta respect
I
them.
can't bring in an assistant chief or a deputy chief anywhere in Massachusetts who knows this job. It doesn't exist because we are so unique.
Mm-hmm.
They're high performers, their track records speak for themselves.
Yeah, and Richie's finally getting a handle on it.
So
So I formally understand what we're asking for, though. Are we asking for a change in the numbers or the change in the grade for the position? Do you follow
no,
that?
the grade's staying the same.
Says the grade, you just need to move the
So there's a dollar value,
scale
The value
values.
of that step, yes.
That's what I was on,
Yeah.
thank you.
and that's all. And all of this is within the police and fire budgets. There's no request to ask for extra money to pay for it. It's all able to be managed.
It's a good thing.
Okay.
Scott, do you have any questions for the chief?
Just for one, and sorry I'm not on video, I have a poor internet connection, but just to clarify, what would be the number that we're getting to? Is it a 6% increase? They're both the deputies have the same salary today, right?
So are we talking about, so right now, we're just gonna bump the deputy chief and assistant chief grade 11 up 13% over grade 10. They will fall in different areas depending how long
Over
they've
grade
been in the
10.
position. But the top end of the position is within
Rachel.
the comparables of all the other cities and towns. And that's at the 50 percentile.
Yeah, I'm
That's-
not arguing with that.
Oh, no,
at
no,
all.
no.
I'm just, I have a question though too, that's sort of related to what Scott is. I think I'm just trying to clearly understand one. So if I looked at grade 9, grade 10 and grade 11 comparison, step 1, we'll start there.
Yep.
There's a $14,000 difference between those two positions.
Okay,
I think, which is probably about 13%.
correct.
So you're trying to get the jump from the police to fire 13, is that what you had said before?
Well, no, because there's already a 6% difference.
So you're
so-
trying to move it another 7?
It's about another 7% change to bring it up to 13% more,
Which gets right to that 50th percentile.
to the 50%.
So it gets right in line with the,
Okay,
yep, that makes sense.
thank you.
Scott, your questions satisfied?
No, I'm good with that now that I was kind of thinking the same as you, that it was, a 13% increase from the current, but that's not right. That would have been well over the 50th, but now it makes perfect sense, so I'm okay with the recommendation.
Mike, anything
Yeah,
else?
no, I'm great. I understand what we're doing now.
Anything else you want to add, chief?
No, I'm just grateful that you guys have given me the opportunity to help me and the fire chief address this deficiency. And again, it wasn't something that someone intentionally decided not to deal with. It
Oversight, yep.
just didn't have people in the position, and now they're in the positions. It should be adjusted just like.
Hey, if we've answered all that
Mr.
questions,
Chairman.
I'm open for a motion. I'm sorry?
Just wanted to, Chief Kelleher, I'm here. I just wanted to, first of all, thank Chief Grace for taking the lead on this today and covering for me. I'm on vacation this week, but I fully support the change. I think it's definitely warranted. So I just, for whatever it's worth, I just appreciate the board's time and consideration. Thank you.
I didn't hear that last part.
He said he appreciates your time and consideration.
Consideration, I think that was.
When would this take effect?
Well, I think it has to go in front of the select board.
Your choice, when would it take effect? Retroactive first of the?
Since July 1st.
year, or
July 1st.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
I'll move to make the amendment.
Okay, a motion's been moved to make a recommendation to our interim assistant town manager, who then brings it to the Board of Selectmen. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Well, roll call.
And then you
vote.
just need to do a roll call.
Roll
Sorry.
call.
Yes,
vote.
I approve.
Okay, Mike says yes.
Yes.
Scott?
Scott says yes.
And Gary says yes. It's unanimous. It passes. Thank you. And thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Katie. Guess the meeting's adjourned.
Nice job. You're official.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
you.